Today we're going to learn how to do a lash lift. The first thing we are going to do is cleanse the lashes with your lash cleansing pads. An easy way to get them out of the container is just using one of your clean spoolies and twisting it off to get a lash cleansing pad. So you're going to have your client keep their eyes closed, kind of just brace their skin so you don't scare them, and we're just going to cleanse the lashes back and forth, swiping up as well. If your client has a lot of makeup on, you may need to do this a couple times. You want to make sure that the lashes are completely clean of any makeup or any debris. I also like to go around the eyelid and under the eye as well. We're just going to discard that. Then we want to tape the lashes down. So you have the option to use a gel pad such as this to place on the lashes, or one of my personal favorites, which is foam tape, which is what I'll be using today. I'm going to grab my foam tape. I'm just going to de-tack it on the back of my hand very lightly so it's not so sticky. I'm going to have my client look directly up at me, and I'm going to tape down those bottom lashes. Go ahead and close. Does that feel okay? Mm-hmm. Adjust the tape as needed so it feels comfortable. And I'm going to repeat that on the other side. Go ahead and close. Does that feel okay? Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm going to take my isolator tool and just double check that I haven't taped down any of the top lashes. So I will just kind of pull and just pull out any straggler lashes that I may have accidentally taped down. And now I'm going to tape her upper lids down. I'm also going to de-tack this tape a little bit as well. If you're finding that your tape is really sticky, you can apply a very light layer of Aquaphor or some sort of barrier cream on the skin to make it a little less sticky. I'm going to take my tape and I'm going to lift the lid a little bit, and I'm going to place right at that lash line. This is going to create a little safety barrier, so when your adhesive gets on the skin, you have that tape barrier to protect the skin in case there's any sort of allergies to that adhesive. Does it feel okay? Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do that to the other side. Now that I'm completely taped down, I'm gonna go ahead and pick a lash rod for her. So you have a little card in your kit that'll tell you a little more about your lash rod and sizing. So over here, I have different sizes with different colors. When using these, there are different sizes. So we are going to measure her lashes. So you typically like a C curl, right? Mm-hmm. So on your little card, it'll tell you what the C curl versus J curl is. So for C curl, we want to keep the color part to the outer corner of the eye, and then we're gonna follow that. So if we put the color here, it'll sit like this. And when we put our second one on, we want that color to be going in that same direction. If we have this one going this way, we're gonna have two different curls on two different eyes. So just be careful of that. So we're gonna see what lash size of rod fits her. So I'm gonna place this just right on that lash line above the natural lash. Oh, other side, sorry. I'm gonna place this on her lash line just above her natural lashes. I'm gonna hold that in place and I'm gonna use my isolation tool to pull those lashes up. We wanna make sure that rod is completely at that bottom of the lash. Pull straight up and wrap it around the lash rod. We wanna make sure that the lashes are at least hitting that medium point on the little rod. I'm gonna go ahead and use a smaller size and see if this fits her a little bit better. You don't want to exceed the top of the lash rod by too much, or else the lashes will be way too curly. So if we see with her lashes there going just a little bit above, this will give her a really, really tight curl. If we want something a little bit less, we can go ahead and do that larger size, which I think would fit her perfect. A size that would be incorrect for her lashes would be a small. Just for visual reference, I'm gonna go ahead and place this on. When pulling these lashes up, see how it exceeds by way too much. This lash rod is gonna be too small. So I'm gonna go ahead and use that large lash rod. So when applying the adhesive, because this hasn't touched her skin, it has just touched the tape, we can apply directly from the applicator. So I'm gonna place the adhesive, drag it all the way down. It is very stringy, so you may need to dip in a couple times. Make sure you get the other side as well. So I'm going to place this on the eye. Once I make sure it slid all the way up to that lash line, I'm just going to go ahead and hold that in place for a few seconds. You want to make sure that when you're placing it on the eye, it doesn't exceed the inner corner by too much. You don't want to poke them, but you still want to be able to pull those lashes on. Make sure when you're pressing, you only press very lightly. The eye is very sensitive. And I'm going to go ahead and apply the other rod to the other lash. Make sure to follow that same color. If it's on the inner corner of this side, it's going to be on the outer corner of the other. Same way of applying it, start at the very beginning, place the front of the rod down, wiggle up to that lash line and hold in place. Okay. Now I want to double check that I haven't accidentally glued down any of those lashes under the rod, so I will just kind of tilt over and pull up a little bit. If I see that any have been kind of glued down by accident, I will just go in and lift those up. So now that the lashes, or the bottom lashes have been taped down, the rods are placed on, we can go ahead and start pulling those lashes onto the rod. So I'm going to get a little bit of that adhesive on the tip of my tool, and I'm just going to brush that onto the lash rod. Just be careful to try and not touch the lashes. You can also place it on the back of your hand like this and use your tool to pick up your adhesive. So I'm going to always make sure that I'm holding that lash rod in place so it doesn't move too much. And I'm going to start at either the inner or outer corner of the eye And I'm gonna grab some of those lashes at the very base and I'm just gonna pull straight up. And I'm gonna start moving them. When I'm using my tool, I wanna make sure that my tool is flat against the rod. I don't want it tilted forward or backwards. Grab more adhesive as needed. And you're gonna push with medium to light pressure, pulling straight up. The more pressure you have, the firmer the lashes will be pushed down and the better they will isolate. I'm going to pull more lashes onto the rod. You're going to work in small sections. You're going to pull the amount of lashes up that is about the width of your tool. If you find that the lashes are starting to lift even after you've pulled them down, work a little bit slower when pulling those lashes up. Or you may need a little bit more adhesive. If the little tip of your applicator gets too much adhesive on it, you can just wipe it off on your towel. As I'm pulling them up, I'm also going to use the very tip of my tool to kind of brush in between those lashes to straighten them out more. You don't want any lashes crisscrossing at all because they will set in place that way. So make sure they're all coming straight up. The better isolation you have, the fuller the lashes will look and the better lash lift you get. I'm going to go ahead and get more adhesive. And I'll show you when putting it on the rod as well. Go ahead and pull those lashes up and just work your way all the way across. Make sure you're always placing your tool on your mayo stand and not next to your bed. You don't want to accidentally poke anyone. If you're putting more glue on your glove, make sure you use a clean section. Don't reapply to that area so you don't cross-contaminate with your bottle of adhesive. I'm going to pull more lashes up, repeat the same process. Then after I get all the lashes onto the rod, I'm going to want to take a look all the way around to make sure that I haven't missed any. I'm also going to want to make sure that I didn't accidentally glue any bottom lashes up that may have popped and that nothing have fallen off. So there's a few little baby lashes down here that didn't quite stick, so I'm going to go ahead and re-glue those. Make sure you're always bracing the eye or around the eye area so that lash rod doesn't tug on the eye too much. I'm going to go through one more time, make sure that they're all brushed out completely straight. Nothing that's crisscrossing. And then I'm going to go ahead and work on the other eye. When you start on the other eye, make sure that you're also checking back at the other eye to make sure that the lashes are still being pulled in that same direction. If you accidentally start pulling them at an angle on the other eye, they will look unsymmetrical, so just keep an eye on that. So I'm going to go back and just double check that none of the lashes have popped off the rod. There's a couple little baby lashes down here that are being stubborn. So I'm going to do one more look over the lashes to make sure they are exactly how I want. If I find that there's some that are crisscrossing that I may have missed, I can use a little bit more of that adhesive to soften that glue, or maybe a tiny bit of water on a Q-tip just to re-soften it so that I can move those lashes to where I need them. So after double checking that they're all good, I'm going to go ahead and apply my first solution. This is going to be solution number 1, the Retexturizing cream. I'm going to give it a little massage, make sure all the product is all together. Push it all the way to the bottom and rip off the top. So you can apply this product into a little dish. You can put it on the back of your hand, anywhere just to dispense it. I'm going to get out all of the product completely. I'm going to get a little micro applicator, and I want to apply this product to just the bottom half of the lashes. So when applying, we never want to go to the tips of the lashes. It can over process. Don't want to go too far, so we're only going to go halfway. We're going to try to get as close to that lash line as we can without letting any product spill into the eyes. Just being very careful of that. It is a chemical, so staying a little bit away and coming up halfway up the lashes. You want there to be enough product that you don't see the lashes through it. So I'm going to get some product on my applicator, and I'm going to be very careful of my application. I'm going to put this product on, making sure I go as low as I can while still being safe. And I'm going to apply this all the way across the lashes. Just like that. And always double check that nothing is falling into the eye, and check in with your client. Nothing feels like it's burning or itching. All good? Okay. Okay, once all that product is on, I'm just gonna throw the rest of this away, and we are gonna set a timer for 15 minutes to let the lashes process. Okay, after the 15 minutes is up, or whatever your manufacturer process time is, we are going to remove that first solution. I'm gonna just grab a gauze, and I'm gonna grab my isolator tool. I'm just gonna start at the very bottom of the lashes, dragging up, removing that product. It's going to be the same pressure as if you were pulling the lashes onto the rod, just we're going to remove the product. I'm going to go ahead and remove the product off both eyes. And you're always removing the product off of the first eye that you put it on, so nothing over processes and the time is more even. Now we have the bulk amount of product off. We're just going to go ahead and discard that into the trash. I'm going to get a Q-tip, and I'm going to just tap it into the water, and I'm going to get rid of that excess water off of my Q-tip on the towel. And we're just going to remove that excess solution, so we're just going to drag upwards to make sure we get all of solution 1 off. And I'm just going to refresh my Q-tip with more clean water. And the Q-tip should not be dripping. It should just be damp enough to help remove the product. I'm going to go ahead and get another Q-tip, dampen it with water, and repeat that same process until there's no more solution. You never want to rub too much or have too much water because it can release the lashes and we don't want those lashes to move at all. Now I'm going to go ahead and do it to the opposite eye. Now that it's off, I'm going to do one more little check around the eyes, making sure that there's no more product left. If there's any product left in the lashes that hasn't been removed, you can over-process them. Now, if you see a few of those lashes have popped up during that removal process of solution 1, so since we removed all of that, we can go ahead and glue those back down. So we're just going to reestablish those lashes and make sure they're still in that same place that we want them so they don't move. Just gonna take one more look, make sure they all look good. And then we're gonna move on to applying our solution number 2. This is the Retexturizing cream. This is what's gonna set those lashes into place and also neutralize that last product. Again, dispense all the product onto either the back of your hand or a little dish. We're gonna use the same little applicator and apply this product in the exact same way as we did with number 1. So I'm just gonna go ahead and double check the application of my product. Make sure it's still only on that halfway mark. The lashes are completely covered, and we're gonna let this process for 15 minutes or whatever the manufacturer time is. Okay, now we're going to remove our second solution the same exact way as the first. So we're gonna get a gauze and we're gonna remove that product. I'm gonna discard this, and now we're gonna remove and release the lashes off of this rod right here. So I have a bowl of warm water with sponges. You wanna make sure that you're using warm water or else the glue will not dissolve. So warm water, and we're just going to swipe softly and rub up. And we're going to do windshield wiper motions back and forth. Very gently. And you can see that the lashes are slowly starting to release. You should not have to force them too much. If you are having to do that, your water might not be warm enough, or it might not be as saturated, so maybe get your sponge a little wet. Just be careful that the sponge is not too wet. We don't want to drip any water into the eyes. You can also just press and hold as well to slowly start dissolving that glue. Now I'm going to go ahead and do that to the other eye. Now I'm going to take a Q-tip, dipping it into that water, tapping off any excess, and I'm just going to help that lash rod come off and slowly remove it. If the lashes are being a little stubborn, just use that Q-tip to release them a little bit more. Just like that. And we're going to do the same thing to the other side. Then we're going to go ahead and take that tape off. Be very gentle. And now we're going to remove the rest of the adhesive that may be stuck in the lashes with our sponge one more time. Give it a thorough rinse. Make sure to kind of brace that eye and work very softly. Brush down and brush up. One thing you can do too is take your little spoolie and brush through those lashes just to help bring it to the top. And I'm just going to keep flushing the area with warm water, just getting rid of any glue residue that may be present. So go ahead and just do one more check that there isn't any adhesive in the lashes. Once you're for sure that they're clean, give them one more brush. And if you want to tint, this is where you would do that. So we'll do that right now. So we are going to just dry the lashes off with a dry Q-tip. And discard those. And you have a couple different options for when you want to tint. You have these little paper and plastic little shields that you can put on the eyes. You have your gel pads, and you also have these little plastic applicators that you just set right under the eye to brush on the tint. Today we will just use these little paper ones. But before that, we want to make sure that we're protecting the skin with some sort of barrier. So Aquaphor, barrier cream, or petroleum jelly, so you don't tint the skin. So I'm just going to apply it to the very top of the lids and under the eyes. So go ahead and keep your eyes closed. This will prevent any allergy or reaction, or lessen a reaction if they were to get any tint onto the skin, as well as protecting from tinting the skin. Now go ahead and look up. We're going to go just under the eyes, make sure you don't get any on those bottom lashes. Okay, go ahead and relax. And I'm going to mix up my tint. You will dispense product based on the company you're using and what the manufacturer recommends. But you will have a developer, and then you will have your tint. So I'm just going to use the bottom end of that little stick I used for the Aquaphor and mix that up. Okay, I'm going to set that down, and I'm going to put those little shields on. For these, you just dip them in a little bit of water. And there's a waxy side and a paper side, and you're going to put that waxy side down onto the skin. So go ahead and look straight up at me. You can also tint the bottom lashes by putting those barrier covers, so your gel pads or papers, and putting those under the bottom lashes. Okay, go ahead and close. And then adjust them once their eyes are closed as needed. Does that feel okay? Okay. So you can use an angled brush, you can use a little disposable brush, and you are going to apply the tint. So just give it one more little mix. And you just want to get a little bit of product. You don't want too much. And you are going to apply it to the lashes, brushing down. So starting right at the root, brushing down. Make sure that you leave a little gap between the lashes and the skin. You don't want to get any product on the skin. If you do, just use a little Q-tip and remove that. Everything okay? Nothing burning or itching? Always double check that nothing is itching or burning because it should not be. If anyone's having any sort of reaction, they'll have those symptoms. So always just double check with your client through your service, during your lift, and your tinting process. Then once you have it all brushed on, you're just going to kind of pop those lashes back up. Make sure they're not sitting down. And just give one more little check that you've gotten that tint all over and as close to the lash line as you can. Then we're just going to leave that on for manufacturer's recommended time. So now we're going to go ahead and remove the tint off of her lashes. You're just going to grab 2 little cotton rounds and fully saturate them in water. Squeeze out all the excess water so nothing's dripping. Go ahead and tap them off on the towel if you need to. We're going to fold it in half, make a little moon, and we're going to place this down on her eye. That rounded edge is going to be with her cheeks. So you're going to place it flat onto her lashes and press down. Maybe press on a little bit, press those lashes in, and then you are going to grab that little pad and your cotton round and pinch them together and swipe away. That's going to help grab most of that tint off of the lashes. Then go ahead and fold it in half. We're going to do the other side. Press, grab both of them together, wiggle, 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 and bring it to the side. Just like this. Go ahead and throw it away. With your other one, we're going to completely remove the rest of the dye and tint. You'll brush upwards and downwards, making sure you get any product off. Just be very gentle. I'm also going to get a Q-tip with a little bit of water, tap off the excess, and go between the lashes, making sure there's nothing on the skin after wiping it off. You will know the lashes are completely tint free once your Q-tip does not have any color on it. I'm gonna go back with my cotton round and do one more wipe, make sure it's coming out completely clean. I'm gonna rinse out my cotton round. Now I'm gonna go ahead and look at her lashes. Make sure there's no tint that I see, and now I'm going to dry them with another Q-tip that's dry. I'm going to wipe off that excess cream, barrier cream that's on her skin. And we are going to do our last step, which is putting on the lash conditioner. So go ahead and take out that spoolie, use a clean one, get a little bit of product, a little goes a long way. So just get a little bit and brush that onto the lashes. I have a little too much product on, so I'm just going to wipe off my spoolie and just kind of fluff those lashes back up. And go ahead and open. And we're all done.